Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we will begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got their crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, a complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun or in Area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, hops are baffled, potential experimental thoughts that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hi guys. I'm sorry. I thought my live was scheduled at 7:30. But clearly it was scheduled at 7, so I apologize. But hello. Hi Amber. Oh, Leslie, welcome. We're happy that you decided to pop into the chat. Hi Callie. Honey M, Harlot, People Me. We have Nope Not Today. Callie Nurse. Loki, Chloe Moon, Cherokee Girl Claudia, Callie Lisa, Jenny B, Lindsay, Shy, Hippie Chick, Creative Minds, Chases on the Case, Reese's Cup, Grandma Nini, my grandma. I changed my profile picture for Melissa and I love it. Thank you. We have, let me see, Sherry, King Garbett. That's a new name. Welcome. Hi, Grateful Mama, Anna Cassis, NGRN, Scara, Cool Gamer, Daniel, Lydia Jade. Let me see. Who else do we got? Forgets and Shiggles. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. God's Child, Lindsay. Ooh, okay. Let me jump down. Megsy. Hi, Megsy. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Leslie just sent a $10 super chat. That's very kind of you, Leslie. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, so. Hi, Linda. Truth Hurts. Wolfie, Sunshine Mafia, Shy, Tony. Dog Mom. Beach Lover. Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. Okay. And thank you, Wolfie, for alerting me that everybody was waiting. Again, I thought it was at 7:00, so I'm sorry, guys. Hi, Michelle. So up on the docket we have hi, poor Linda. Awesome, Valerie. Happy to have you here. So, please be careful, Christina. We have the rest of the Amy Lang interview. We have the rest of the Amy Lang interview to watch. It's been interesting so far, to say the least. She's got into a bit of how her and Leticia formed their relationship, how she became power of attorney, and we last left off. Hi, Trio Girl Mom. We last left off with Amy reading off the emails that she got access to as POA, and they're very haunting because they really indicate a level of premeditation leading up just to 2 days prior to the murder of Gannon, saying that you're going to regret this. And so it's been interesting. So we're going to continue off and we're going to finish the rest of this, which I'm very excited for. Did I, Sherry? I'm surprised I said it perfectly. I had to like pause there for a moment because it's a name I have not said before. Elena, I love your new photo. Look at you. Hi. But yeah, it was a new name. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't know. But I'm glad that I got it. I love you too, girl mom. You guys are amazing. So we're gonna finish off the remainder of this interview. Very excited to see where it goes. Again, I watched this interview once, but it's been a while. It's been a long time, so I don't even remember everything that was in it. But oh, thank you, Shy. That's very kind of you. Shy gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Please thank Shy if you received it. Hi, Anna. Hi, Shamaya Tong. Yeah. It took 5 minutes to go to. I love it. I love it, Elena. It's beautiful. Oh, congratulations, Valerie. So happy for you. I meant to click Valerie's. Okay. So we're gonna watch the rest of this. I guess we shall see what's gonna happen. So last I remember leaving off, Amy was verbally reading out those emails. So we should be picking up right around that time.
I never existed.
For sure. You know that for sure that she doesn't have any other.
Oh, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Well, let me jump back so I can remember where we were leaving off. Okay, perfect. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Becky P. I remember this is where we paused because it was like an awkward silence.
She also claimed for a really long time that she had a biological son named Tai.
Tai?
Tai, yes.
Now, this was big back then. It was big back then because we had heard little things. I think she wrote a letter to Judge Werner, if I'm not mistaken, saying that she had a son. But just to hear Amy say this back then, it was like, what? Because we did not have the calls. And it was crazy. Elena. Thank you, Elena. My goodness. Elena just gifted 10 memberships. Congratulations to our new members. Please make sure to thank Elena. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much. Love to you all too, Becky. Isn't it a great new photo, Chase? I love it. There's my black heart. So it was interesting hearing. I wonder, see, this is the part I'm curious about. Where did Leticia make the jump to decide to go with I have a son? Because hi, love me some him. It's interesting because usually you could figure out why Leticia creates some lies and false narratives. I haven't been able to figure out why'd she go with having a son. And if you guys have your theories, please let me know in the chat because I don't know where that generated from. What was the motive behind that? Oh yeah, I'll find it, Creative Minds. I will find it because I remember when we first heard about it and it was happening in real time and it was like, wait, what? Did she just say she had a son? Like, and we honestly were confused. Did she mean Gannon? But then the age was off. So what would cause her to go with the son narrative? I don't know if she felt she needed, because the only correlation I've figured out so far is that she said Tai, her alleged son, was the person Gannon was going to go play with that day. But other than that, that's the only thing I've really seen. Honey says, I think her Tai story came out because she wanted people to believe she was capable of raising a son and that she isn't the type to kill Gannon. Maybe, but she didn't raise him then. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's confusing.
I have lots of letters of her talking about her
Welcome,
biological son
Shy
Tai.
Shy.
She even wrote a letter to Judge Warner talking about her biological son Tai, which, by the way, never existed.
For sure. You know that for sure that she doesn't have any other.
Oh, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, because me offering my friendship to her opened up like an opportunity for me to become friends with her family. I am very close to Aunt Brenda, and I was pretty close with Harley for a really long time too. And Dakota, Kenneth Harden, that's Leticia's dad. I've never spoken with Deborah, her mom, but they've all come back and said, yeah, no, she's never had another kid.
I would have, and thank you so much, Shy, for becoming a member. I would have loved, Megsy, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for when her family was being told she has another son. So again, that's what I think what's so fascinating about listening to these calls is that originally they believed her. They didn't necessarily know what they believed, but they believed she's innocent because she says she's innocent. But then for all of this to come out and then you have another son? Like, what? From the cartel? I would have loved to see what they were saying to one another. But that's why it's fascinating to listen to the calls, because they're realizing she's guilty. But it's sad. It's actually very, very sad, you know. This is an extreme level of manipulation, an extreme level of gaslighting. This is what we mean by Leticia has many victims. I've never seen anything like it before. KJ. Hi, Natasha. Yes, Little Red, you're perfect in time. Hi, Akasha. Hi, Alaskan Amber.
What did these family members convey to you? Any abuse she suffered as a child?
Honestly, when I talked to them, I tried to avoid bringing that up, just because I didn't know what the things that she was telling me were actually true.
What did she tell you?
I mean, she told me that like her mom was abusive, and her stepdad sexually assaulted her. What else? I know she went and lived with Aunt Brenda for a long time. Aunt Brenda's an amazing person, and the fact that she roped Aunt Brenda into this.
Hi, V. Oakley.
Edgar was Al's plug. He took pain pills all the time, so he was too high to figure it out. I've made it.
Hold on. Slow down, Amy. Edgar was Al's plug. Does that mean dealer? I'm assuming that means dealer. Edgar was Al's plug. He took pain pills all of the time. What's interesting is that Chance, Harley's dad, passed away from an overdose. Then Travis, she claimed to have been a drug addict also. I don't know if he was. But Al too now. And we hear how often she talks about drug addicts. It's interesting that she, even with Al, went to he was an addict. So Edgar is Al's plug, Al's dealer. Okay, I'm going to jump back to hear that one more time.
Edgar was Al's plug. He took pain pills all the time, so he was too high to figure it out. I've made a comment one time saying, "You never know, he could be my son." And went right over Al's head because he was so lit. LOL.
It's very hard to understand her. Hi, Yankee Kyle. Hi, Leanne. What I think she just said is I said to Al one time, he may be my son, I guess referring to Tai, but he was so lit and on pain pills, he didn't even remember. What do you mean, I think? Is that even... I think it's a possibility I carried this kid for 10 months and then birthed a child. I don't know if I could tell you for... What do you mean you can't tell us for certain? You can't tell us for certain if you carried a child for 10 months and birthed it? I'm so confused. But you apparently said that to Al about his drug dealer and he didn't remember. Okay. Do you think... I don't. So you're telling me because Tai would have come about prior to Al that Al's drug dealer just happens to be your prior baby daddy? Okay.
He was too high to figure it out. I've made a comment one time saying, "You never know, he could be my son." And when I went right over Al's head because he was so lit, lol. But he slept around so much, maybe he thought you was my Sancho, but he wasn't. I do struggle with how Ty found out. And Ty isn't real, bruh.
Yes, Callie Nurse. I believe
I'm
so.
looking for this really creepy letter. Sorry, I had like a million letters from her. And they're all saved on my phone, so what I'll do tomorrow is I will send them all to you on like a private message.
Now, I don't know if tomorrow ever came because I would much prefer to read those letters than to hear Amy read those letters. I could barely understand what she's saying. I will search and try to find if those letters were ever posted. I'm not sure. Alina, you don't have to do that, but thank you. Alina gifted another 5 memberships. Congratulations to our newest members. Please thank Alina if you received one. Make sure that you guys are opted in if you can't afford becoming a member. We have a very, very generous community here, so you are bound to receive a membership as long as you are opted in. Thank you, Alina. That's very, very kind of you again. Hey, Crichton. I get tugged with Aunt Brenda. Aunt Brenda has done a lot and said a lot that to my core, I don't want to say I could never forgive her. Who am I? I do not need to forgive her. But she has said things that are disturbing enough to me that I have no interest. Even if the opportunity came to have a relationship with her, I have no interest. Especially taunting Gannon's biological grandmother and talking shit about her on the 1-year anniversary of his murder to his murderer. That, But with that being said, Aunt Brenda very much cared for Leticia. She did right by Leticia. As annoying as she may have been and overbearing, she really took care of Harley. And I think she's lonely and sad, and it's buying relationships. That's what's sad, because I don't think Leticia would have maintained that relationship if she wasn't getting something out of it. Alina, again, thank you so much. That's very, very kind. Thank you. Congratulations to our newest members. Please thank Alina in the chat if you received one. It's very kind. Thank you so much, Alina. She is, Michelle. She's very, very generous. Thank you so much. Oh no. Little Red, we know you do not have talent toes, Little Red. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, send me what you feel comfortable sending me, and then I'm gonna go through and I'll do a separate show. And if you want to join in, you can. If you don't have to, but I'm gonna kind of go through some of that.
I know, Little Red.
It's interesting to me. You've gotten to know her
so
well.
Sasha.
So clearly she's got the do you agree with the borderline personality diagnosis?
Okay, so I was just recently diagnosed with there's like 2 different types of bipolar.
Yay!
I was just recently diagnosed with one of them. I don't remember what it's called. So for her to be bipolar, I could 100% see that.
Well, border.
Okay, Miss Bam. All right. Let's slow your roll down there a little bit, Miss Amy Lang. I don't think you're in the position to be diagnosing anyone when you can't even remember your own diagnoses. All right. So you're sitting over here and you're like, well, I've just recently been diagnosed with. So I definitely, well, what did you get diagnosed with? Maybe she did. But when you can't even remember your own diagnosis, I don't really give a jar of peanut butter what your opinion is regarding diagnosing Leticia.
Borderline. There's a difference. She was diagnosed with borderline.
Oh, was she?
Yes, borderline personality disorder.
Come on, Miss Power of Attorney. Oh, God, I paused. Look at that face I paused on. Not to be mean, but okay. You are her power of attorney. She's not bipolar. It was borderline personality disorder, but every damn time Critical K refers to BPD, Amy thinks she's referring to bipolar disorder. It is borderline personality disorder. Oh, Miss Ma'am. But you know what? You are her POA, and it's a damn shame that you didn't pay any attention to her diagnoses or anything serious versus just going through her emails and then using it to push your own agenda. I don't like that. I associate the peanut butter with this case so much. I don't know why peanut butter comes up so often in this case, but it does.
I know you're not alone in that. You're not alone in getting that confused. She was diagnosed with borderline, which is different from bipolar.
Yeah.
Bipolar is the because I've had many bipolar patients, but I worked as a certified occupational therapy assistant for 30 years. I worked in long-term care. So bipolar is marked by extreme bouts of depression where literally they are, so glum, depressed, don't want to talk, don't want to do anything. And then the pendulum swings the other way, and they have these extreme bouts of mania where
I'm so confused. Amy is supposed to be diagnosed with this, and I don't want to get too much into someone's diagnosis, but you're explaining this to somebody who has this. Okay. All right. I digress.
They will do things like excessive shopping. They talk real fast. They do a lot of talking. They're real outgoing. They're real extroverted. They might do crazy sexual things.
Yeah.
Gamble and do so. It's that pendulum. It's that wild swinging pendulum. Whereas borderline has there's some different symptoms to borderline, more associated with dissociation, which is, I tend to agree with you, and I'm not even really sure. I think there was some.
I actually was not aware that dissociation is a symptom of borderline personality disorder. So with borderline, it's usually a mental disorder that's characterized by unstable moods and behavior and relationships. It's still not very well understood, but the diagnosis is made based on symptoms. And the symptoms usually include emotional instability, feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, impulsivity, and impaired social relationships. I've never heard of dissociation being among one of the symptoms of borderline personality disorder. So please do not, I'm not saying it's not, but I cannot confirm that that is true because that's strange to me. So characteristics of a person with borderline personality disorder include a pattern of intense and unstable relationships with family, friends, and loved ones. A distorted and unstable self-image or sense of self. Impulsive and often dangerous behaviors such as spending sprees, unsafe sex, substance misuse, reckless driving, and binge eating. Fear of abandonment. People with borderline personality disorder are often terrified of being abandoned or left alone. Unstable relationships, unclear or shifting self-image, impulsive, self-destructive behaviors, self-harm, extreme emotional swings, chronic feelings of emptiness, and explosive anger, which that one really stands out to me. The explosive anger. Elena, my goodness. Elena, thank you. That is more than generous. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Elena gifted 20 memberships. My goodness. Congratulations to everybody in the chat who just received a membership. Please, please show Elena love. Show her your appreciation, because that is, thank you. My gosh, Elena. Thank you. Welcome all of our new members. Thank you so much. Very, very amazing and generous. Thank you. well, you know what? A lot of these symptoms, yeah, that one girl. A lot of these symptoms fluctuate between different diagnoses, but it's also symptoms that somebody without a diagnosis can experience. I think it's really the collective. With certain diagnoses, you have to hit a certain amount of these symptoms to get diagnosed actually with the disorder. Right, and it's how extreme you have. So how many do you have? At all times are you having these symptoms, and the extremity of it. But thank you again, Elena. Like, thank you. And that's what the thing is, KJ. I do not like the stigma it adds to it. And Judge Werner, who presided over Leticia's case, really said it the best. And I don't remember the exact words verbatim, but basically at the end of her trial, he said, you're damaging the awareness surrounding the mental health community. He's like, I have seen defendants come in my courtroom who genuinely struggle with what you claim to struggle with, who genuinely do not know what they did, who are terrified of themselves because they have no control over themselves. You are exploiting mental illness, and you are adding to the stigma that already surrounds these mental disorders. And it was just so accurate and so true. Because unfortunately, all we have, even with DID specifically, we don't have, it's an injustice too. That's what he said. He said it's an injustice too. And the only thing we really have for these disorders in Hollywood is Sybil and Split. And a lot of times they are associated with being dangerous, violent, and that is not at all the case. And I told you guys, I experienced it even during the Quentin Simon coverage when we were trying to figure out what happened to him. One of the Leilani's brothers who lived in the home was on the spectrum. Okay, well, people started speculating like crazy that maybe he had something to do with this because he's autistic. And I'm like, dude, we're in, at the time, 2022, 2023? There is absolutely no reason why people should be associating being on the spectrum with being violent or dangerous or more likely to murder someone. It's absolutely ridiculous. But Leticia got the DSM-5 and she was like, let me see what I could do, and put on my best form of crazy. Oh no, Aries. Oh, prayers. I hope everything's okay.
Can understand now how it happened, but I think there was some communication breakdown between Dr. Dorothy Lewis and Leticia's legal team.
Mom.
Yeah.
I don't think Dr. Dorothy necessarily believes
See,
that
Nana?
Leticia has altered personalities.
Let me know in the chat. Is there anybody who actually thinks Dr. Dorothy Lewis believes? Whoa. Sorry. Hold on. That was weird. Whew. Okay. Is there anybody in the chat who genuinely believes Dr. Dorothy Lewis thinks Leticia has DID? I'm sorry, guys. I got hit with like a feeling of dizziness. Sorry. That was weird. I think she was paid. Any expert, I don't want to say any expert witness can be paid, but like anybody could be bought. And I think it spoke volumes that she was the only one. I'm sorry, Helena. Well, maybe that's why I got dizzy. I got so dizzy for a moment. It just like hit me. It's probably all this Critical K and Amy shit, man. I was very disappointed because this is your life's work, yet you were so easy to roll on into that courtroom and claim Leticia has DID. Yet, from your own standards of criteria someone needs to meet to be diagnosed, she did not hit that criteria. It was the most bizarre thing, and I would really love to be able to go over not all of Dr. Dorothy Lewis's testimony because that was long, but at least the important parts, in my opinion, with you guys. I would love to do that.
I think she was more trying to convey to the jury that Leticia dissociated or split. And it's interesting because I have a couple of borderline people in my group. See, I try to tailor my groups to where people will ultimately feel comfortable coming out and saying, I'm borderline, and here's what I can tell you, because this is really what I want. If I let everybody in my group sit there and hate this woman and screech and scream all day how evil and disgusting and fry her and throw her under the bed, I'm not going to allow that, because I know that there are eyeballs that are reading this that might see themselves in Leticia. And I want those people to feel comfortable talking to me because I want to understand. I don't know a lot about borderline. I really don't. It's not something that I'm terribly familiar with. It's quite rare.
Yeah.
So, and it can come about.
Well, and Kelly, I think she was, I don't want to say age is a factor, but she had a very prestigious life and accomplishments in her career. Don't like I don't want to make any like meth comments, you know, you guys, trust me, we could all see what's going on here. But please let's not do that in the chat. Thank you. So but when she was doing her interviews for her diagnosis with Leticia, she was simultaneously recording for her movie, for her documentary, whatever it was. I think that's really what it was more about. Getting paid to do it. And yeah, I mean, is Leticia exhibiting the symptoms? Sure. But are the symptoms legitimate? No, not in my opinion.
As a child abuse. So I think the miscommunication, and because what I get from Dr. Dorothy's testimony is she believes that Leticia
welcome, Little Red,
or altered, went into a dissociative state. And it's almost in line with what I've always said. She succumbed to or surrendered herself to that rage.
Yeah.
when you think about it, I mean, when you look in terms of his injuries are indicative of someone with extreme rage. To take a knife or an instrument and that is a workout, because you're stabbing at a human tissue, flesh, bone. You're hitting bone. I mean,
and they also consider that a crime of passion too.
Yes, and
no, sorry, whoa, sorry. And if they go into the specifics again of Gannon's murder, I'm just going to jump past that stuff because it's very triggering to listen to them discuss the brutality of this crime with such carelessness. I don't know. But I do not consider this a crime of passion. And if there are people in the chat who do think it's a crime of passion, you're more than, obviously welcome to share your opinion. But I don't think that this was a crime of passion. I don't think, I mean, I guess certain aspects can, but I'm really leaning more towards premeditated. This was thought out, those Google searches, those emails, and she wouldn't have been engaging with like this. I don't know. I don't think it was a crime of passion.
So I think what Dr. Dorothy was trying to explain is not necessarily the Sybil type dissociation. She was trying to explain, because this can occur with borderline people where they dissociate, meaning another part of the brain takes over. They have this other side of their brain, not necessarily, they're learning more and more about this, okay?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily another personality, it's another side of that person's brain. And so what I would ask you is did you ever see her? You did say that there was a video call where she didn't seem like herself. Did you say that?
Yeah, there's been a few where she does not seem like herself.
Okay, so I think what Dr. Dorothy was trying to
okay, so it does say that BPD patients can experience dissociative symptoms, and pathological dissociation has been linked to poor functional outcomes. Alter identities within people with with BPD seem to generate most but not all dissociative phenomena in DID patients, whereas only the 24% high scoring BPD patients seem to manifest alter-driven dissociative experience. So I guess it is possible. I guess it is possible. I didn't realize that. But Dr. Dorothy Lewis was pushing the DID, not BPD. So I'm confused.
Part with that is that it's like this other state of consciousness. Have you ever heard of astral projection?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever experienced out of body?
Me personally, no, but I know people who have.
I have once. Now, I lucid dream often, but lucid dreaming isn't the same as astral projection or going out of body.
Right.
So I had, at a very stressful time in my life, and I want to say it was about 10, 12 years ago, I had a girlfriend who was a good close girlfriend at the time, and her husband, she just caught her husband cheating. And I'm very empathic. So when I have a friend and they're going through a lot, I tend to take it all on. I take it all on.
I do that too. Yep, I do it too.
I am the same way. I take it all. I feel it all. I feel every shock.
Amy, I call bullshit on that one. And sorry, but I call bullshit on that one because you were talking to a child murderer. Did you take on all those emotions? Because Leticia doesn't have any emotions. Did you take on any of the emotions of Landon, Al, Lena, hardly anybody, I do not believe you're an empath and you took on all those emotions, because you would not be giggling and happy to do this if you did.
To my core, I feel every hurt, pain that they're feeling. I've always been this way. And my friend at that time was beside herself. She was losing her mind because she had caught her husband cheating. He had been going through nursing school.
Hey, Chris.
So she had been paying for that and taking care of him and all.
Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second.
Where I laid down to take a nap, and
Okay.
I astral projected. I went out of body and I was above myself, looking down at myself, sleeping.
I've never encountered that.
And I could see myself. Oh, your house is pretty.
Thank you so much.
I love your cupboard. I could see myself sleeping. I could see myself breathing and,
Astral projection is not dissociating. They're not the same thing at all. Everybody experiences dissociation. Everybody. The most common time people can relate to dissociation is when you're driving on a large stretch of highway or a parkway, and all of a sudden you'll kind of snap back into it and you'll be like, oh shit, did I miss my exit? Like, where was I mentally just there? Like, I don't remember what I was thinking. I don't even remember driving this vehicle. For short periods of time, we all dissociate. Astral projection is not dissociation at all, so I don't really understand why this comparison is being made, but for anybody who's trying to understand what dissociation is like, we all dissociate, but we only usually dissociate for very short intervals at a time, but everybody really has experienced driving and it's like, oh crap, where am I? What exit am I at? I do not even remember the last 3 exits. You don't remember what you were looking at, what you were thinking at, how you were driving the vehicle. That's dissociation, and it's normal. That is normal.
Oh, what we do when we sleep. And I was above myself, like just hovering above myself. And I thought, am I dead? Like, did I die? Did I have an aneurysm in my sleep? And this is what death is? I'm looking at myself. And ultimately I came back and I literally felt myself
Hi, Sherry.
come back. And I was able to wake myself up. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Right.
So, and it's my understanding that that's kind of a form of dissociation. And it's another way of potentially looking at some of these shocking murders or crimes that these people.
No. You're not going to take an example of astral projection, which it is possible. On conspiracy nights, I've tapped into that, and there was an entire CIA project built on astral projection and remote viewing. It is possible, but with that aside, stop associating DID with these murders, people who are doing these murders. You're adding the stigma once again that if you are someone who struggles with this, that you are more likely than someone who doesn't to commit such a heinous act. This was a choice. Leticia made a choice. It wasn't a mental illness that was causing her. It wasn't dissociating where she didn't know what she was doing. She knew damn well what she was doing. And I think that this is very damaging to these diagnoses.
people are out of body or something. Like they go out and they're seeing themselves do it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't absolve them. Of course
No.
not. I've said and I've said and I've said, Leticia's dangerous. Would you agree with me? She's a dangerous.
Yes. Okay, let me tell you this. There was a point in time, because like I said, I wish I could print the call records I print at El Paso County Jail. I'm sure I could if I asked him. Well, she used to call me all day, every day when it was her time out of her cell, right? And by the way, I apologize. I smoked my vape pen pretty heavily.
You're okay. You had to go get another one?
Had to get another.
Amy, we're 2 hours into we're 2 hours into this and you just mentioned this? Okay.
Because I one died. But oh, sorry. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, number one, had you ever seen her? You said yes, where she wasn't necessarily quite acting like herself. Did she ever describe that to you? Did she ever say that she's ever had times where she was outside of her body?
Yes, Little Red, we could all see what's going on here, but I prefer not taking any jabs regarding meth or anything like that. Please, let's be respectful, because the truth is, I do not know what any medical conditions are that may be causing slurred speech or I don't know. So let's just keep it classy, not trashy.
Body, or she was watching herself do something and couldn't control herself. And also, do you think she's dangerous?
She's never come to me and said anything about an outer body experience. Although I do think that she referenced it one time. One thing that I do like about Leticia, well, I hate to admit it. I hope this doesn't offend you. She's very arrogant. She's very vain. She thinks that she is the most intelligent person on the face of the planet.
Right.
I mean, and that nobody's level of comprehension can compare to hers. So when her and I got to talking, she's like, this is the reason why I like talking to you, because I can say things in a certain way, and what you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm like, okay, and I got what you're going with there. Man, I'm tired. What was that last question you asked?
I know, I can tell you're getting tired, and I'm so grateful.
Amy, you dissociating? What's going on here? What's going on here? You're asked a very direct question, and you tend to go a whole football field away, and you're like, where am I? Where am I? Did she ever mention an out-of-body experience, Amy? That's what she asked.
If we need to, we'll do a part 2. I've done that before. We can take a break, because I know this is a lot.
Oh no, I wanted to answer that question. I just totally forgot it again.
Did she ever
No. Oh, no. We're fine. I really want to answer that question. That's a very important question. I just need you to remind me what the fuck that question was. Amy. Jesus.
Breasts any time where she felt she had no control of herself, or where she's watched herself do something out of body?
There was another question though too that I had the answer to.
Do you think she's dangerous?
Yes.
Well, we agree she's full of rage, right?
Well, here's the thing. Back in 2021, her and she was out because she lived in solitary confinement for 1.5 years, right? She called me one day and said, Amy, if you're standing up, you don't want to sit down. I was like, what'd you do?
We just listened to this, you guys. Sorry. This was our last calls. This is where we last left off. Do you remember? She called Amy and she's like, I need you to sit down. Are you sitting down? And I remember I got us all hyped up. We're like, come on, guys. We know this is going to be good. And she's like, I'm moving to G pop. I'm moving to general pop. We just listened to those calls. I don't know. It was interesting. We just left off with that last Amy call.
She goes, I signed a waiver to go to general population. I was like, Tisha, do you think, not saying that you did what you're accused of, but do you think it's a good idea with the charges you have pressed against you? And she's like, look, honestly, I'm going crazy in solitary confinement. Like, if I go out to general population, I'll get more TV time, I'll get more rec time. I told her, I was like, "Please just think about it long and hard and know that I think it's probably not in your best interest." She's like, "Well, I already signed the waiver." She's like, "You will probably won't hear from me for 2 days. But, I'll give you a call when I can." A day went by and she called me. She's like, "Hey, I'm in general population and so far it's going really good." I was like, "Thank God," 'cause, like, I'm sorry, this is gonna piss people off. What she did was wrong, but that doesn't mean I want anything bad to happen to her either.
Oh, no, me neither. Me neither. That doesn't solve anything. I'm very against prison violence. Number one, because it costs prisons millions of dollars, ergo costs the taxpayer millions of dollars, because inmates will sue. And it's just not, we've come too far to regress and go backwards. We don't need to be and furthermore, inmates get themselves in more trouble when
Yeah.
it adds to their sentence. I wrote to an inmate for years who was on death row in Terre Haute, and the only reason he's on death row in Terre Haute is because he killed another inmate during gladiator games. They were having gladiator games. He was in prison in Texas, and he ended up stomping another inmate's head in and killing him.
I
And
mean,
he got a death sentence. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten a death sentence were it not for that. But nevertheless,
When you say gladiator games, I at first I interpreted that as being like, a light-hearted fun, but then you said stomped his head in. He got death row because he took a life while serving time. Like, I don't like that we're not doing the accountability thing here. You are accountable for your actions. You are accountable for your actions. So if you are going to stomp somebody's head in, whether it's in jail or not, you will be accountable for that death.
yes, I think she's dangerous, and I think she's dangerous to other people. Has she
Yes.
had any run-ins?
Yes, this
Right,
is the point I was gonna bring up to you. When she got put in general population, her and I were talking back in 2021. I was like, this is when she was still pleading not guilty. So, and I obviously had a pretty decent amount of the evidence against her, but not like all the stuff they put out in trial. So I asked her, I was like, if you're found not guilty, what's your next course of action? And she's like, Amy, I really don't know. I'll make you a deal. I live in North Carolina, but I've got people to watch the kids. I will come to Colorado Springs. I will pick you up. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to handcuff you. Please take no offense to that. But
What the?
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Did you just say did you just say that, Leticia, if you are innocent, listen. I'm going to put my kids with my husband and I'm going to take that fucking drive. Okay? And I'm going to be there. I'll be there. I'm going to be there to pick your ass up, girl. But I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to have to handcuff you. Wait, if she's innocent and the charges are dropped, how awkward would that pickup be? Hey, girl, hey, get in. We're going shopping, loser. Cha-chink. Why would you need to handcuff her? Why would you? What authority do you have that you would need to handcuff her if she is cleared and found not guilty? That just says everything. That says that she is fucking guilty. And you know she's guilty. But if the slim chance that you happen to get out, girl, I am handcuffing you. To what? I don't even know. But okay, we all see how Tisha stops, drops, and rolls out of her cuffs, okay? There is no trust, Tracy. This is such an awkward conversation. Awkward.
I've got people to watch the kids. I will come to Colorado Springs. I will pick you up. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to handcuff you. Please take no offense to that. But I think you and I can both agree that you are not only a danger to yourself, but that you are a danger to others as well. And you know what she said? You know what she said?
What'd she say?
You're 100% right.
She knows it.
Anybody who's watching the Allie and Bendy calls, please let me know if you guys happen to fall upon this video visit. Because I don't think it's in a phone call. So maybe it's in a video visit. I don't know. This is awkward. Why would you abandon your children to go pick up a child murderer who you are now admitting is a danger to herself and to others? Come on. Come on. Tisha agreed to be handcuffed, but she's innocent, right? Why would she agree to that? This is just silly, man. Look at Amy. She's so happy to tell you these deets, right? She's like, you want to know what she said? You want to know what she said? Okay, do you want to know what she... Oh, yeah. What'd she say? What'd she say? She said, you're 100% right. That's what she said. How about that? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that?
Oh, but that you are a danger to others as well. And you know what she said?
What'd she say?
You know what she said?
What'd she say?
You're 100% right.
She knows it. She knows she's dangerous.
Yep.
Has she had any issues?
In what way?
In general, Pop? Has she had any fights or altercations with anyone?
No, people pretty much keep to themselves with her. They stuck some crazy lady in a cell with her who was like mentally unwell and like threw elbows and like knocked one of her teeth out. But that was like the gist of that.
I'm sorry, is that what she told you? Because we know her tooth did not come out from a brawl, Amy. Her tooth came out from talking in the toilet vents too much, and the gases decayed away her veneer, and it just popped right out. And now it's sitting as her property of Letecia fucking Stauch in a prison, okay? So I don't know if there was another incident where another tooth came out, but I know about this one because we went through the incident reports.
But no, like, she is highly revered at El Paso County Jail.
Oh, yeah, your face says it all, Amy.
Okay, what the?
She's highly revered. Mrs. Menstrual smearing, barking like a dog, vampire, zombie, SWAT is highly revered. I don't know about that. I think I have an objection to that, ladies and gentlemen.
Any objection? All objections.
Dear Lord.
Like, a lot of people don't believe that she did what she's convicted of doing. She tells me all the time. And when her and I used to do video visits, her friends would like come sit next to her to talk to me too. Like, it was real interesting experience.
So she's popular. She's popular.
She's very popular in El Paso County.
I don't not believe that. Because she's among animals. Sorry. You're among child murderers. You're among the worst of the worst. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And with the way Aunt Brenda puts commissary money, you are valuable to them.
I do not foresee that being the same situation when she gets put over to...
We never say never. She's charismatic, clearly, so never say never. She might go where she's going and pull the same charm.
I think once she gets to where she's going, we should find out soon. I think I'm gonna write her another letter and be like, I know that you and I kind of had a falling out. You quit writing me back and you quit coming to my video visits. But like, I do still care about you. And, you know, I know your family cares about you too.
See, they did have a falling out at this point, but I guess Amy was still her freaking power of attorney, which is crazy. That's crazy. Shame on you.
Like I said, I don't believe that anyone is past the point of help. I don't condone what she did, but as somebody who struggles with mental illness, it's hard sometimes when you don't have somebody to advocate for you.
Are you advocating, Miss Ma'am? I don't even know what my own diagnosis is. I didn't know Leticia was even diagnosed with borderline personality. I've been over here thinking it's bipolar disorder this entire time. Are you advocating for her? You're taking her private emails that have not been released and going on and selling them. That is not advocating for her. And guess what? As a POA, hey, Bellis, as a POA, you should have. Despite how I feel about Leticia, you should have taken that role seriously or not taken it at all.
When she decided to plead guilty, but insane, did she tell you why? What did she tell you?
Oh, no, malicious.
If I recall the verbiage correctly, she called me one day and said, "So I changed my plea from not guilty to not guilty by reason of insanity. Keep in mind, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, so she is well aware that I know of what NGRI means."
Yeah.
Which is...
That was really assuring, Amy. She is well aware that I know what NGI, what is it? NGRI, what the fuck is that thing called again? What was the question? Do you? Because I'm not pretty assured right now you know anything that you're talking about, Amy. Oh, dear Lord.
Keep in mind, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, so she is well aware that I know of what NGRI means.
Yeah.
Which is an admittance of guilt, just stating that I wasn't in the right state of mind when it happened. And she said all the deputies and the wards were giving her shit for it, like, "Oh, so now you want to change your plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. Like, we knew you were guilty the whole time." So, like, when she told me that, I just took it for what it was, and I'm like, "What do you think is gonna come next?" Like, and I forget how I worded it because it was so long ago. But, like, it wasn't like it always doesn't come as a surprise to me. I just told her that I was proud of her for doing the right thing. I am not here to judge anybody.
Proud of her for doing the right thing? Proud? You're proud of her. I could see if maybe she just pled guilty, but not guilty by reason of insanity is not taking accountability. It's not doing the right thing. It's trying to get off the hook for, I don't even like even saying murdering that beautiful boy, because what she did is so much more than murdered him. She really did. She did so much more than just murder him. And it was not a crime of passion in the moment, emotions built up and bam. What she did lasted weeks. Weeks.
If that's the choice that she had to make to get past this point in her life, like, I'm all here for it. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And if people keep giving her shit at the prison for her changing her plea, I'll call in and make all of the complaints.
So at that point, she didn't elaborate on what happened. She didn't.
Yeah,
she didn't say, "I'm changing my plea, and guess what? This is. I know I haven't told you this yet, but this is what happened."
No. She just told me she changed her plea by not guilty to not guilty by reason of insanity. And I believe her exact words were, and I'm sure you can figure out why.
What is that? What do you mean?
So it's pleading. So Darlene says it's actually pleading guilty, isn't it? Yes and no. You're saying I committed the crime, but I am not guilty because I was not in the right state of mind at the time I committed the crime. So it's not guilty. It's literally not guilty by reason of insanity. But that meant at the time the murder was committed, you did not know right from wrong. And that's a hard thing to show. Because even if you're struggling with a whole bunch of diagnoses and well documented, that does not mean that you didn't know right from wrong. So she wasn't going to get out of that unless they were able to prove at the time she murdered Gannon, she did not know it was wrong. And that was almost an impossible task given everything she did after. So she can't even try to claim I snapped in that moment because of what she did to his body after and the constant moving and the Google searches. You can't try to say I didn't know at the time. She very well knew.
Well, she knows I know what NGRI is.
And well, or did she mean by that I did it? Okay. What do you think happened? So you piecing together the conversations you've had with her, what you've learned, the trial, everything. What do you think happened the next day on the 27th? Do you think the candle incident was real? Do you think he really did tip a candle over?
This is where it gets tricky because I've heard two different accounts of the candle situation, and those came from Leticia herself. If you want my honest opinion, she had been looking for a way to divorce Al. She'd been looking into divorcing Al for over a week, looking for places to go to, like, Orlando or whatever.
See, now right there, I will say this is another instance of where I get confused. Her Google searches do show prior to the murder, she was looking up apartments in Florida, housing, jobs. But then you circle back around to then why didn't she just leave, right? Why didn't she just leave? But then I also look after the murder, and she desperately wanted Al. Let's get our family of 4 leaving Gannon out together. Don't you want your family together? Don't you? She did not want to leave him. She wanted him to want her. She wanted Al to want her. But I cannot explain the Google searches.
Whatever happened, I don't remember. I know that she was, those emails I read you where you could tell there was so much contempt with the way that she felt with how I was treating her. I think she wanted it out. I also knew that
hey, it's me, Amberly.
Gannon was her least favorite kid. Like I said, there's neighbors that have come forward that said that she abused not only him, but Lena as well. I think Gannon's love for his mother, Landon, was a huge trigger in her book because
I believe that. And I question to this day, did Gannon say something along the lines of, you're not my mom? Or even, because I don't know if he would have even said something like that with the abuse he was sustaining versus just even expressing he wants his mom. And Leticia could not handle that. I'm the one who takes care. God, I could only imagine what she fed to Gannon. I could only imagine all of the horrible things she said about Landon to Gannon. But guess what? Moms are irreplaceable. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you were primarily taking care of him at that time. You cannot replace a bond between a child and their mom. And you despised it. You resented that child for the love he had for his mother.
like I've heard from numerous sources that like, you know, he liked being with his family in Colorado, but that he'd always talk about wanting to go back to Mama Landon. And I think that pissed Leticia off because, you know, she's always seen herself as like the school teacher, like she's a good mom. Like obviously she was a good mom to some extent because look how well Harley turned out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
See, I don't agree with that either. Of course, your upbringing is going to play a huge role in the person that you become. But that's saying every murderer's parents had to be pieces of shit. No. Actually, we've learned that there are many murderers who were raised and had wonderful childhoods, great parents. It doesn't work like that. So just because Harley became the beautiful person that she is doesn't mean that Tisha had to do something right. Doesn't automatically work like that.
I think, I mean, for the longest time, because Gannon took Vyvanse, which is extended release Adderall. I swore up and down for the longest time that she was taking his Adderall because if you take it and you're not ADHD, that shit will make you fly like you were on meth.
Right.
But it never came out that I'm sure it would have in court if that were the case. But I think what happened was I know he had an accident in his pants.
At the Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods, yep. And I think that she got tired of cleaning up after his messes. But now we compare that with the fact that we know that she was giving him almost daily enemas. Like, that's kind of a huge thing to do to an 11-year-old boy that's not even your own kid.
Huge. Crazy. It's cuckoo. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That's borderline sexual assault. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Now, I remember at trial when that came out, I struggle with that too because it's so inappropriate and unsettling that I'm open to believing she did something like that. But at the same time, it was used to push an agenda, and I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I could believe Leticia would even be hands-on like that. I can't see Leticia, and I don't want to say caring for him, but even taking the time to help him with anything unless there was alternative reasons. She did not even do his laundry, cook him dinner, but we're supposed to believe that she took time every day to help him with a medical process. That wasn't necessary. I struggle with that. But I think that maybe there was once or twice when Gannon was at the height of his stomach issues that it may have occurred. And we remember the sodomizing came into play with Leticia with what she claimed. And I think she built something off of that to show a history of inappropriate parent-child relationships because that's the defense that they were pushing during trial.
It is. I'm sorry. Yes, it's ridiculous. Yeah, continue.
And I honestly think that between that and all this other stuff, I think she had contemplating leaving Al, like she wanted to leave Al, but I think she had this mastermind that she could save Al's and hers relationship if for some reason some big major event could happen that would draw them close together. So of course, why wouldn't it be Gannon? Because that was her least favorite child. That was her problem child. I did believe I can find it somewhere that when Gannon and Lana would go back to Sue Landon, Harley and Leticia would do the happy dance, and I guess Leticia made a comment like, "I can't stand that kid." Like,
now we know that to be true because in the case files, we have Gannon's doctor notes. And Gannon was seeing somebody because he got prescribed medication. He was seeing a doctor. And even Al communicated to this doctor that Leticia has a resentment towards Gannon and an anger towards Gannon. And it's even documented in these notes that when they would go back to visit with mom, like she would make comments and stuff and she would be happy.
So I think she took some of her anger out on Al, on Gannon. I think, because it was overkill, right? I think she was mad at Al. I don't know what Gannon could have done that day, but you got to sit back and think. As much as I want to sit here and say I think that she snapped, the level of premeditation leading up to that event tells me that she had this planned. So it's my theory. She tried drugging him first with oxycodone. It didn't work. She drove him around hoping he would die. It didn't work. They come back to the house. I believe that she brutally stabbed him. We know for a fact the stab.
I'm just gonna jump past that type of stuff because I don't really want to hear Amy's shit on it
or something. Like, even Al said like he believed her up until he didn't see that Tiguan parked at French Elementary School. That's when he knew a red flag was up.
But why? So it seems so frenzied. This is what I can't get past is the actual it had to have been a bloodbath. Frenzy.
So but 1 or 2 or 3 times to call it good and so
He was straddling him.
Like 2 years ago, she had made a comment to me that she can swing a metal baseball bat like no one's business and that she
right. Duh. See, this is why I'm a blonde. I'm so stupid. You're
Girl.
right.
And sorry guys, I'm just jumping past that stuff. I don't really want to hear their thoughts regarding it. It comes off as disrespectful the way that Amy says it, and I just want to focus more on Leticia.
Did.
Don't let this red fool you.
Yeah, so she oh.
Judge Warner closing statements said that it either happened with the butt of a gun.
The butt of the gun or yeah.
It's the baseball bat.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think this crazy Leticia that we all were introduced to whenever the story hit the national airwaves, I want to say it was the 28th or the 29th, and I've been covering it literally from day one. Do you think that Leticia, okay, this portrait we have of her, this person who did that crazy whacked out interview with Spencer Wilson and the person that we see in the courtroom, is that who she's always been?
No.
So a switch flipped after she killed this child?
Yes. 100%.
Have a good night, Jaded.
So it's not that Al missed anything. If she's borderline.
Well, let me back it up here. I think that she was crying out for help from Al because I've been in similar situations.
No. Sorry. Let me calm down. No. One, do not take anything that you have experienced and compare it to Leticia. Correct, no malicious. She manipulated her entire way through life. Something did not just snap. Do you need me to pull up all of her prior charges? She was born with evil. That's the only way I could put it. She was born with some evil in her, and she got away with it. She was spoiled. She got away not appreciating anything, expecting, entitled. She was always this. I think she just did a better job at, I don't want to say hiding it because she didn't hide it, but she hid it. And I think that evil that we see now, every time Al walked out the door and she was left alone with those children, that's who those kids saw. The same way, if you guys ever know somebody who changes when they drink, and you could see it in their eyes, like up, they're 3 beers in, and all of a sudden there's a shift. I'm no longer looking at the same person. Their eyes are hollow. That's how I anticipate Leticia. The moment that Al left and those kids were home with her, something dark and sinister would come out. And she took all of that anger and resentment and hate and geared it towards Gannon. Why Gannon? I don't know. Maybe because he was such a soft and sweet boy who really loved his mom more than anything. But it wasn't just all of this came out after she killed Gannon. It was always there. It just didn't get to this extent as far as her actions.
In my marriage, where I've been like, look, I need help with the kids. I need help with the chores. I'm going crazy.
Yes, Darlene.
You know? And
there is multiple incidents documented of abuse. Lena told her mom, and it's very heartbreaking to go. We've gone through all of it. It is mentioned in the case files. We do have the text messages. I've shown them before. But Lena mentioned to her mom how Leticia had been abusive with her and basically stuffed her face in a carpet. Landon confronted Leticia, and at that point, Al did not believe her and made Landon apologize to Leticia. Gannon reported the abuse twice to his school. The second time was 2 weeks prior to his murder. 2 weeks. DCFS was never contacted. Despite being mandated reporters, the school never took it outside of the school and reported it to DCFS. Thank you, Lisa.
As you saw in those emails, like would push her off to go bike riding or be like, this is your job as a woman or whatever he said. I can understand her, knowing her personality, probably lit a fire under her ass. I get that. But like, what I don't understand was she could have packed up all of her stuff and just walked away, took Harley, walked out.
Exactly. And I don't know what your kids are still young yet. Mine are all older. I have a 31-year-old, a 22, 23-year-old, and I have 17-year-old twins.
Well, you could be my mom. I just turned 32.
I probably could. Yeah, I could be.
Amy, that that insulted her. Come on. That insulted her. I would have been insulted. Kay clearly was a very young mom because they do not look like they have a big age difference between them.
But when I was raising little ones, I pretty much stayed home. I worked a little when they were I didn't work at all when they were babies. I think I didn't go back to work until the twins were 3 or 4. I stayed home. We just cut corners and made it work because we didn't want them in daycare, and they were my last babies, so I wanted to just devote myself as a mom. And my husband had to work. I mean, at that time he worked for a small local company. Now he works for a giant big corporation, but back then it was a small local company. He was making a lot less back then. But I loved every minute. I loved hearing their little coos and getting up with them and giving them their Cheerios. I treasured every moment. But then again, they were my biological children.
Right.
But I try to put myself in Leticia's shoes and say, okay, because I try, I want to understand. I mean, how hard really could it have been? Again, take me back to what were her chief complaints about Gannon? He just was hyperactive?
hyperactive, had stomach issues. I mean,
he was hyperactive, yet he also was not being administered his medication consistently. The school, Gannon's teachers were able to absolutely tell when Gannon was not on his medication. Leticia admitted that, what was it? Which way? That she would wait to give him certain medication when he was home and on the weekends, but not at school, so he wouldn't have accidents when they were home during family time. Yet you were fine sending him to school to have accidents. The stomach issues. If you were a child suffering abuse, what kind of impact physically do you think that that would have on a child? An insane amount of stress for a child who already struggles with stomach issues. What do you think that was doing to him? Can't really communicate all the issues going on, so it would take an impact physically on the child. I know anybody who has ever been like super nervous, you have something big coming up, like, and you got to go to the bathroom, right? Like, it's stress takes a physical impact on the body. Now imagine that with a little child suffering abuse.
I've always had, I guess, a bias. I feel like, excuse me, she treated Lena like gold, but she always treated Gannon like, I don't know. I think it's because Gannon reminded her so much of Landon, and that intense jealousy. She always wanted to be Landon or better than Landon. So there's numerous times where I think I have those recordings too, where Gannon's on the phone crying.
Yes.
I want my mommy. I want to talk to my mommy, and Leticia's recording it. And like, I don't know why she was recording it. I don't, but it's like, that's his biological.
You're telling me there exists recordings of him crying, saying, "I want my mommy," and
yes,
she
somewhere in the depths of the internet that might still be on my phone or my computer. I'll have to go look.
And she would record him crying and saying, "I want my mommy."
Yes. She also recorded phone calls of Landon, where Landon was begging Al and Leticia to bring Lena and Gannon back to her because she needed them in her life.
That's heartbreaking. I wish this pain on no parent. No parent. But that's the thing about Leticia. She hated having Gannon and Lena there. She did not want them there. She did not look at them as bonus babies. She looked at them as work, and I don't want to deal with it. Yet, do you think she would allow Landon to take them back, who wanted them? No, right? That's because it's a control thing. She would have rather be miserable taking care of them despite clearly not wanting to, versus allowing Landon to take them. Because that's how much she would have preferred the control over Landon. That I win. That narcissistic tendency. And thank you so much, Shane, for becoming a member. We're happy to have you back and part of the channel. Alina. Thank you, Alina. Alina just gifted 5 memberships. Congratulations. If you just received a membership, please make sure to thank Alina. So many received memberships tonight from Alina. Thank you so much. Congratulations. It's sick and it's sad and it's I just cannot wrap my head around it. Like, you didn't have to take care of them. You could have just left if you were unhappy, but also if you wanted Al, you wanted that marriage. But I don't think Al wanted them gone. And so with the pressure of Al and not wanting Landon to feel like she won, she would have rather took that baby's life.
Oh, what the fuck? So Al just turned a blind eye to the fact that she treated Gannon less than she treated Lena?
From everything that I've read and studied in this case, yes.
He just turned a blind eye to that.
Yep.
He let her be mean to Gannon? She was mean to Gannon?
From everything I've read, she was mean to Gannon, and
and you guys know I've struggled with my feelings with Al, but I have learned and I have gone through everything, and I do not think Leticia was treating Gannon like that actively in front of Al. And Al was not there a lot. He was working. And this is why it's very, very, very important to be aware of the red flags. Do not become desensitized. Al, in my opinion, became desensitized because it is hard looking at the doctor's notes, and even Al himself was expressing he could see that there is a disconnect. But I do not think Al for one moment realized the extent of the risk happening there. I think when Al was home, she was going to make sure not to do anything for him to see. But again, the lifestyle they lived with Al's job, she was there with them predominantly. But that's why, please, if you see any of these warning signs in a relationship, take it seriously. If your child is expressing that they are being abused, believe them. I guarantee if Al could go back, he would change many things. But what she did to both Al and Landon, I wish on nobody. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. That is pain I could never even begin to try to fathom. There really is, if Al didn't realize that there was actual abuse, physical abuse going on, I've seen very toxic females who exhibit the same behaviors as Leticia. How do you know that they're going to become the killer? You don't, right? You become desensitized and it's like, they're doing the same shit they always done. Yeah, this is toxic. I'm going to eventually leave. I just got to figure something out because who's going to watch the kids? I got to do my... But that's the problem. When you become desensitized, things like this can happen.
And his focus was on the military. Which I don't know if you've been with a military man before or not, but a lot of military men are that way.
He just left it on her. Well, they're your responsibility now. Why would Al not let them go back with Landon? Do you know?
Rumor has it that she was struggling with substance abuse issues, but I also heard that
that was not true. And I fell for that rumor in the very beginning myself, back when Leticia was all in those Facebook groups pushing that narrative. And I feel horrible that I believe that. Landon had a really rough pregnancy with Gannon's youngest sister. And she was hospitalized and then on bed rest. I don't remember the specifics, but she was not good physically, health-wise. But she was a very active part of Gannon and Lena's life. And this was currently Gannon and Lena were there, but they had lived predominantly with their mom throughout their lives.
Had gotten pregnant for a third time and was having severe pregnancy complications.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's been that claim. There's been, but I mean, a lot of us have. I mean, I was a high risk. I was on bed rest for 4 months. I didn't lose my kids, but again, I was married.
Yeah, I honestly think that Al and Leticia had Gannon and Lena because Landon was having those health complications with her third baby.
You think that's why they had the kids? Well, then why not give them back once the pregnancy was over?
I think that she had she had a lot of complications with Gannon, right? I think it was a similar situation with her littlest one.
Oh, premature and this kind of stuff?
I think so. Don't quote me on that because, girl, I've been trying to absorb all the information in this case for as long as I have. So
I know, me too. It's a lot. It's a lot, and all of these people have their own oddities. I found a lot of some of what they've done. This is how I've come to interpret it, or how I'm lately. Okay, I'm going back and I'm revisiting how these people have portrayed themselves.
Right.
And it seems to me that the whole lot of them are immature.
Yeah.
And mentally and emotionally immature. And when you have mentally and emotionally immature people who are 15 acting like they're teenagers still, bringing kids into the world, then the kids are along for the ride. And a lot of what Al did in his victim impact statement, and look, I give him a lot of grace because it's a victim impact statement and emotions are high, but a lot of the things he said were just immature. They just reek of a very immature person.
That I caught that too, but I would be lying if I said I did not lose my shit when he called her a nappy head.
Nappy headed. Well, and there's a little bit of uproar about that. I mean,
Really? He could have called her many things. Many things. I don't.
I said, I try to give him a little bit of grace. I thought the whole new wife, the new honey coming up there and her dad and all that, I thought that was so bizarre. I
did too.
It's so strange to me. And, look, I'm not at all trying to act like my life is 100% together and I'm a perfect human being. I had a child out of wedlock and then
Same.
and then left that child's father, who is now deceased, and came from California to Michigan and brought another man into my life. So I'm by no means perfect. I brought another person into my son's life. In retrospect, was it the right thing to do? I mean, you're talking about 1995. Things were a little bit different then.
Yeah.
And I did it for the right reasons. And so I try to give Al a little bit of grace and say, well, maybe he was doing it for the right reasons. He realized that Gannon and Lena needed a mother figure. They needed a woman. They needed somebody to be a mother. But I don't think he really thought it through.
Now, again, it's no secret. I've expressed that things didn't sit right with me that I had saw, but it was kind of after I let my emotions settle down that I went through all of this again, and I realized I cannot fucking judge. I cannot judge. Everybody copes with things differently. And what both Al and Landon went through were unimaginable. And I cannot sit here from behind the TV or behind the computer and determine, hey, are you grieving enough? Are you feeling shitty enough? It may appear like, oh, you are remarried and you bring this. I had to check myself because one, it's not my place. 2, they went through hell and back. And 3, we really do not know what somebody ever is struggling with. Kind of same thing with social media. Everything seems so perfect and peachy, yet you truly have no idea what somebody is really going through behind closed doors.
Children are not hamsters. You can't just pluck them from one aquarium and put them in the next and expect them to just deal. Right. And so I'm a little disturbed that he's now dragged Lena into yet another foreign family. It's like we're just patchworking families together. And
trust me, I have thought the exact
100%.
same thing.
And children don't handle that well.
Okay,
children are resilient, so they might seem to be handling it well, but it's causing all sorts of internal dysfunction, and it's affecting their psyche. And those things that they're doing may not present in Lena for 5, 10, or more years. And I was shocked, along with everybody else, that she's not back with Landon. Why? After everything that's happened, is she not? Why does he still have her? I don't understand that. Do you think he's controlling? Because I get the sense he's a little controlling.
Okay, yes.
He might be, but it breaks my heart. It breaks even with the calls that we're listening to currently. Well, a little bit before. And Landon was reaching out to Leticia, well, through Amy, but reaching out for help. It broke my heart that after they lost Gannon and they didn't even get to trial yet, they didn't get answers yet, they both had to fight over their daughter. And God, this is what I mean by the what she caused. Oh, it goes so beyond just the murder itself. She caused so much pain and turmoil. And I'm just so freaking thankful that they were able to salvage their relationship, meaning Al and Landon. I am so thankful that after all the shit and all those ups and downs, at the end, they still stood strong and united. And I don't know how they managed to do that after everything they went through, but they did. And I'm very thankful for that.
I've gotten that sense, and I've gotten that sense from talking to Leticia too.
That he was controlling.
Yes.
Do you think Leticia did try her best to step into that mother role? Do you think she tried?
At the very beginning, I believe that she gave it her all. I believe that's the family that she wanted. I just don't know when the switch flipped and everything went downhill from there.
Because in those emails, and I'm really excited to see a few more, in those emails on the 25th, her grievances are reasonable. She sounds rational. She doesn't sound like she's... I wonder why they didn't read those at trial.
Well, I think I was on the witness list. They probably would have had me do it there, but they had so much evidence against her. They probably...
What? No! What? No! I'm sorry. You just sounded very dumb. You cannot read. It's hearsay. You can't read that. Why would you read an email exchange between Leticia and Al? You are neither of those parties. Therefore, you can't even testify if either of them were the ones to write the email. That just was the silliest thing. And you've said many silly things, but that was a very silly thing. You would not be called to the witness stand to testify under oath for something you can't testify to. You got access to Leticia's Gmail. That's it. But they already had these emails, because I told you guys, I didn't just take Amy's word for it. Part of one of the emails is in the case files, identical to what she read. So I know that these emails are legit, but you would not be called as a witness to testify to that.
Kind of weeded out those who they didn't need.
but it's very eye-opening. All right,
We
tell
didn't
me
meet
a
her,
little bit
Tracy.
about what prison life is like for her.
She's actually having a really good time.
What? All right, give me some deets. What's her canteen look like? What does she order? What does she eat?
Honey buns, peanut butter chocolate bars. She likes, I have a list, I'll have to go find it. The cappuccino thing, like it's like a powder you mix to make cappuccinos. I think chocolate muffins. There's a whole list of stuff. Remind me, text me tomorrow, remind me. I will find that list of the things that she.
And there's about 15 minutes left, guys. So we're going to bust through it. But chocolate chip cookies, shebangs, hot and spicy, frisky, sexy ramen noodles. We know all about, because we've seen that commissary list, baby girl. But you see how Amy says she's happy there. I know that everybody fights whether or not she genuinely is happy or not, like the way she describes it as prison land. I go back and forth with it. Obviously, she's not happy being there, but I think she's having the best time that she can be in there.
She likes, because I used to order her care packages and stuff in commissary, or you can just send her money to her commissary and then she can go buy it there.
What about, does she get a decent amount of money?
Yeah,
Does anybody
Pop-Tart
else send her
straws.
money? I mean,
Yep.
where's she getting money from?
So it used to be me and Aunt Brenda, but Aunt Brenda cut her off completely, and then I went through a period in time where I lost my job, so I couldn't afford to help her, and I always told her I felt bad. She's like, no, she's like, it's not your responsibility. But
why did Aunt Brenda cut her off?
That's a long story, and hold on, my phone is at 5%.
Are you getting ready to die?
Yeah, I'm ready to die. So we
can go it. Let's just plan a part 2.
Do you not have a fucking charger, Miss Ma'am? Hey, Chris, do you not have a charger? You're at home. I don't know why I said that with an accent, but you're at home. Plug it in. Just go grab your damn USB and plug your phone in. That's the most bizarre thing ever. So I don't know, like, what period Aunt Brenda allegedly cut her off, but I'm pretty sure they still have a relationship to this day. Like, she's the only one who still talks to her. So I don't know those specifics, and if anybody in the chat does, I guess we'll figure it out with the evolution of all the calls. But her and Aunt Brenda, as far as I know, still have a relationship to this day, because somebody had just reached out to Aunt Brenda, and it was like 2 months ago, maybe they showed it to me. And it was like, do you not realize you're giving her all this money? Do you not listen to the calls? Do you not know what she's saying about you? And Aunt Brenda responded with, it's my business. It's my money, which touche, it is. But she was still pro Tisha, so I'm not sure.
Let's just this is a lot. So let's give people a chance to digest this, and then you can get some more things together.
Yeah.
I would love if you can find me another one of those video calls where you think she wasn't necessarily herself.
Mm-hmm.
So get that up on deck, get that ready to go for part 2, and then get me a little bit more info about what people are going to want to know, what's going on in prison. Like, you say she's not having she's enjoying herself.
So far, she's having a good time. She's not. I hate to say it, I fully expected for her to get her ass handed to her when she went to general population. I begged her not to do it, and she's like, "Girl, if I don't, I'm gonna like go crazy in these 4 walls." She calls me 2 days later. She's like, "I'm doing really good. I've made friends."
I was going to ask you that. Has she made friends?
I don't know if there's another part. I'll look. I'm not sure. Hi, Mellylyn. Yeah, Amy wasn't prepared, for someone, and I believe she has a lot. She clearly has a lot, but I would have come prepared, organized, and let me show you, you know? I don't know.
She's got friends and
she's made friends, yeah. A lot of people at the time, because she hadn't gone to trial yet, were like, there's no way Leticia could do something like this. Now I'm sure they've seen her trial. And like I even learned a lot watching that trial.
When you watched the trial, did you think she was faking, putting on an act, or do you think she's really kind of out of touch?
That's a loaded question. Because I've seen her out of touch before, but I've also seen her act.
What do you think during the trial? Was she with the finger flipping and all that? What's that about?
Leticia. That is just who she is through and through.
But you really don't know that, Amy, because you've only known Leticia after the murder. And you've only known Leticia when she had motive and reason to act a certain way. How you could, I don't know, man. I'm not any expert in the mental health field. This is just from the little research I've done. I've never seen somebody with these actual mental health issues act the way she's acted. And a big thing with Leticia is duper's delight. She's always smiling and she's always laughing when she's doing this type of shit because that shows me you are aware with how ridiculous you're being. And you can't help not to laugh or smile because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. But even with people I've seen who struggle with DID, BPD, whatever it is, I've never seen them quite act the way Leticia acts.
Finger flipping is just who she is.
Yep.
But was she this person prior to murdering him?
Had she been that way prior to murdering him? I don't think so. But like now, like since she's been in jail and stuff like that, like yeah, flipping people off. You just see when they bring the suitcase out to show the suitcase,
yes,
and she went like this.
Yes, she's so strange. I don't understand. I'm having such a hard time. It's like this Jekyll Hyde. I'm having such a hard time. Did she just hide this from Al really well?
There ain't no way that you could hide this from somebody for that long.
She was not, in my opinion, she was not acting like she's acting post arrest every day with Al. No. Now, with that being said, I think she was always like this. And it would just come on and off depending on when she needed to manipulate. So if Al left earlier than what was planned, that personality would come out, that anger that you're leaving me alone. You don't do anything. I'm here to raise these kids. Are you going to send me a Mother's Day card? Because I'm the one taking care of these kids. I think she always was like this, but it didn't come to an extreme until she knew everything's being recorded. My life is on the line, right? I have a reason to go even crazier. But I think this is always her personality. But try to just eliminate the vampires and all of that came after the murders because she has to try to pretend to go crazy. But all the other aspects of her personality was always there, in my opinion.
I have mental health issues. I couldn't hide them from my husband. Like, not even in a day. Unless you're like top tier narcissistic, there ain't no way. Like, he couldn't have seen the red flags. There ain't no way.
He had to have. This is where my stumbling block is because I'm like, she's so strange. She really is bizarre. And she's been that way from day one. She's been bizarre. The interview that she did and everything so strange. And So number one, thank you for sharing with me what you have.
Of course.
And I'm excited to see some of the rest of these emails because I think that might help me form a more rounded out picture. But she's such a bizarre person. There is for me this great disconnect between, okay, this is the Leticia I have over here post the murder of this child, but I don't know who she was prior. So she's so crazy and weird post the murder, but was she crazy and weird prior? And he just, what? Was he attracted to that? Did he like it? Did he do that? I mean, I
don't think she was. Listen, people with people with manipulative personalities like that, take away the weird, like I said, with the vampires and all that shit. No. Eliminate that. People who manipulate like that put on a really good front. They put on a really good front. I have seen it firsthand. And everything seems peachy, and you're the woman of my dreams, and you are everything I have been waiting for. They have a way of, well, what was your last relationship lacking? And I am going to be everything it was lacking. Until they get you just locked in enough for that true self to come out, for that mask to slip. So by the time you're seeing it for what it is, you're already very invested in it. Now your finances are all intertwined. Your home is, she's the one taking care of the kid. It's not as easy. Well, unfortunately, it can be as easy as getting up and walking away, but there's a lot invested. And it goes from, okay, the mask slipped, but it was just a really bad fight. It was just a really bad, but then the mask slips more and more and more and more and more. But then they tend to go from hot to cold. So as volatile and as toxic as those fights would get, they know how to manipulate to go the other way. And that is, I told you guys why on those pretext calls, why I think Leticia was desperately trying to get Al to meet up with her physically, is I think she was trying to manipulate him sexually. A lot of times what these type of women will do is, when a fight gets to that bad and they may feel like they're losing control, they'll bring you back sexually and kind of like have sex and make up. Like, I'm going to manipulate. If I could get you, because there is nothing more vulnerable than making love, you know? And so if I could get you vulnerable and I could get you in that bed, I could whisper those sweet nothings in your ear. And by the time we're done having sex, we're going to move on. And I know that might sound weird, but it really does. It works in a lot of ways. And I think she was desperately trying to get Al to meet up with her because she wanted to manipulate him sexually, like she's done many times in the past. Yet he stood his ground and he was well aware of what was going on and he wasn't falling for it. There's many times where we tend to kiss and make up with somebody we're in a relationship with, and afterwards it kind of just feels like it is a release, right? It's a literal release, and so your stress is kind of released and you kind of just move forward. And I think that's what she tended to do.
That's my stumbling block. What did he miss?
I think as more time comes out, we'll find out more.
Well, she was already claimed to be pregnant.
She gave me permission to write a book from her perspective of things.
I'm sorry, what?
I did let her. We'll find out more. Back in like 2021, she gave me permission to write a book from her perspective of things.
Now, did she now? Did she now, Miss Amy Lang? You know why she needed Amy to write that book, right? Because you're not allowed to profit from your victims and the crime you committed. So she's going to have you, Amy Lang, write a book? Okay. I'm sure it will be filled with all of the truths everyone's been waiting for.
I did let her know, if I write a book from your side of things, you cannot profit from it, because Gannon's family will come after me like white on rice.
Well, right.
I was like, so, but what I could do for you, if you give me this permission to write this book, you can't get any financial gain, but I'll load your commissary up for the rest of your life. She's like, deal.
AKA, you will profit from it and you'll load up her commissary. Look at that smile on your fucking face. There it is, right? Miss Empath. Miss Empath, I take on all of the emotions. Look at that smile. Now, you can't directly get the profits, but I can. And I'll make sure to cut you a nice piece of exploiting this child that you murdered. She couldn't be happier. She couldn't be more happier. It's
So she agreed. So she agreed to that.
So like, I want to reach. That was back like last year. So like, I want to reach back out to her. Hopefully sooner than later. I know she's still out of Paso County Jail, so I might try to reach out to her and be like, look, I know you said that I could write a book from your side of things. If you're still cool with that, like, I am all for it, and I will keep my promise. I'll keep her commissary loaded.
Well, that'll be interesting to see if she. So do you have?
I think, as much as I do not agree with Critical K, with a lot of things she said, I think she is aware of how Amy is, but she had to keep a level of respect as she was conducting this interview, because she's having her on for an interview and she's trying to get the details, but her face kind of says it time to time, just like it did right there. Like, that is not something to be giddy off of. Yeah, to the left, this is Critical K. She was a YouTuber for a very long time, but she's no longer on this platform.
Plans to speak to her soon? I know you said you haven't talked to her since the verdict.
I'm gonna try. It just depends on. I can set up. I can't call her. She has to call me, but I can
And
set
she
up
hasn't
video.
yet. She hasn't tried calling. She hasn't tried calling you.
No, but I can set up video visits. So I need to figure out when her video visit schedule is, because it alternates every month. Like, sometimes she's out at night, sometimes she's out at day.
How do you think she's handling the verdict? Do you think she expected?
Honest to God, I think she expected nothing less. She had no emotion. She had the audacity after she got the sentence to be like, "Can I pick what prison I go to?" I think that was her only concern. She became institutionalized back in 2021. That's the gist of it right there.
So she's just institutionalized. She's used to it.
Yep.
She's used to the structure. Do you think she finds comfort in that, in the structure?
And I do believe that. I believe Leticia got used to it. And Leticia, I don't know. See, I say that, but at the same time, now it's nagging in my head. All of the moves she made as if she was going to get out, So, it's so hard. It's so hard. But I think she did eventually find her groove and she felt tough in prison. And I'm sure she does have some control there. She's a high profile. She gets a lot of money. She's among pieces of shit. They don't give a shit. They're not really judging you too much. And I think Leticia got used to it. But then again, she made a lot of moves as if she was really going to get out. So that's the part that about Leticia I really can't understand.
She does. She flat out told me, she's like, Amy, one of my favorite things about being here, even though it's not optimal, I don't gotta do no one's dishes. I don't gotta wash anybody else's clothes. I still look after me. I get my food.
Bitch, you never did. the things, I don't know, like, does anybody like doing laundry and dishes? No, but I love taking care of my family. I love that, like, the things that Tisha despised are the little things never to take for granted. I'm sure Landon yearns for the feeling of just being able to wash Gannon's clothes one more time, to clear his plate and to wash it off and get it prepared with the next meal. For Leticia to say, "Oh, I'm happy. I don't have to do anybody's laundry. I don't have to cook anybody's food." I don't get it. You didn't do their laundry anyway. In the email, days before you murdered Gannon, you're complaining to Al that he only did his own laundry. You made Gannon and Lena, an 8-year-old, do her own laundry. It's so bizarre.
Who cooked for me? I told her, I was like, there ain't no way I could survive in prison. And you know what she told me? I told her, because she was telling me prison stories one time. I was like, there ain't no way I could survive a week in jail. Leticia looked me dead in the face on video chat. I'm pretty sure I had that recorded too. She's like, you know how you avoid that, right? I was like, what's that? She's like, don't commit any crimes that I'll put you here to begin with.
Well, right, exactly. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So she kind of, it's like she's on a getaway.
Oh, I wish her the best, Ashley.
Something like that, man. I don't know.
What does she say the food is like? Does she describe the food?
Yeah, she said the food's terrible.
Which is probably why she gets so much. She orders commissary stuff.
Commissary, and she signed a waiver to go on a kosher diet.
Has she lost weight or gained weight in any way that you?
She's gained weight. I'll show you videos from when her and I.
Oh, what was that? I'm sorry, Miss Ma'am. What'd you say about that? Did you say she's gained weight? No, Tisha, you didn't gain weight, did you? You're just a frail little skinny. You're almost the size of Harley. Isn't that true, Tisha?
No.
Yes.
No, sir. I mean, John, no.
You're telling me she's gained weight? No, but see, every time we speak to Tisha, she hasn't eaten in 87 years. And she's just so tiny and frail. There must be a mix-up.
And she signed a waiver to go on a kosher diet.
Has she lost weight or gained weight in any way that you?
She's gained weight. I'll show you videos from when her and I talked for the past 2 years, and then go look at the videos of her trial. She's gained a lot of weight.
Well, you get those videos together. I'm gonna let you go because I know you're getting tired, and I know you've got a lot going on. You've got health issues going on, and I'm here for you if you need anything from me. Get those videos together, the ones that you think people will get the most from.
Yeah.
And that we can generate some discussion around. So get those up, queued up on deck, and we'll do part 2 tomorrow or the next night, whenever you're feeling up to it.
Okay.
Don't push yourself. I know you got a lot going on.
Like, give me some time, because everything's on my Google Drive on my laptop. So give me some time to get on my Google Drive and pick and choose, because I have hundreds of videos. So I can pick and choose to the ones that might give us more information than what we're looking for, type thing, you know?
Definitely pull up the one where you think she was acting strangely and not like herself, because I'd be curious to see that one.
Yeah. I'll dig around, and then I'm probably gonna go ahead and send you. Yeah, we're friends on Facebook, right?
Yeah. I sent you a friend request, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
you should have gotten it. Yeah,
okay.
from my main account.
So,
and thank you, Amy. Thank you so much for giving me this time and agreeing to do a part 2. And well, let's see how this goes. Let's see if we. I mean, I promised you some cut of the action if this generates some good interest. I hope it does.
I hope so too.
I know there's a lot of people that are pissed off.
What was that? I'm sorry. What? So if this pulls in a decent amount of views, aka money, I'll cut you in. The same way, Amy's going to cut Tisha in on that commissary action from the book she's going to write and profit from. Good night, Elena. Mwah. Interesting.
Off at me because they don't understand me. I'm very misunderstood. I'm not sure if I just don't come across. I can come across, and I've been going through a lot, so I haven't been very patient with the people in the group. The people are so. I don't want to let the emotions cloud my judgment. Of course, I'm horrified at what she did. I would have to be inhuman. Of course I am. Of course I am puzzled by her. I've always been puzzled by her. I'm puzzled by the entire situation. I'm confused about the entire situation. But I'm certainly am not lacking in empathy, and I'm certainly didn't cover this because I didn't care about the victim. But I try to set those emotions off to one side so that I can try to be more analytical. It's a skill set.
This is why when you and I started talking, I was like, we're going to get along great because your mentality, is the same as mine.
And a lot of people don't understand that because they think that people like you and I are just hard-hearted and cold and we don't care about Gannon. And nothing could be further from the truth.
No.
We want an understanding because we care. And I don't know about you, but I've built my platform on my position always is how can we honor the dead? Well, opening a vein and crying and carrying on and I feel like Landon probably feels like I judge her for some of the stuff that she did, like the challenges and the things and stuff like that. I don't judge her. I just was puzzled by it. But I think a great way to honor a child like Gannon, because and you know this, there will be more, and there have been many before him. Right. A great way to honor is to at least try to get some understanding that might go deeper than a trial or might go deeper. Try to get some understanding that you can then parlay into having discussions with real people who are having real problems, because I promise you there are other Leticias out there. There are other Gannons. There are other families, because this is the world we live in of divorce. And
it's scary and it's true. But like I said, that's the whole reason why I got into the criminal justice system.
I mean, maybe she did, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there's other Leticias out there. So what can we reach them with this story? Because do you agree with me that if Leticia had just hit the pause button, if she had just left and gotten herself the help she needed and learned to contain that rage, she wouldn't be where she is? Do you?
I 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt believe that.
No. Do you think she understands that now?
Now, after her sentencing, yes.
No. Abellis. Thank you, Abellis. Abellis just gifted a membership. Congratulations. To whoever received it, please make sure to thank Abellis. No, it is not something she realized, in my opinion, after sentencing. Nor do I like, of course, we could sit here and say if she just could have left. No, I think this would have followed Leticia, and I think it could have been, different circumstances, yet the same exact situation would have ultimately happened. This was her. And so it may not have been the exact situation that played out, but it would have been something, because this is a Leticia problem.
And so my brain goes to, how can Leticia's testimony to what she allowed herself to descend into, the madness,
Exactly,
the
Laura.
rage, the anger that she allowed herself to descend into. What impact can that have on other men or women that are out there dealing with stepchildren or even dealing with their own children, and they have rage that's building inside them?
Mandy.
They have rage and resentment and bitterness and hostility, and they let it build and they build and they build and they build, and then poof, it goes nuclear. How can we reach those people before they go nuclear and destroy their own lives? And
I think this case has shown how important getting mental health treatment is.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I went to the psych ward twice because I knew that I had some mental issues going on. Not how.
And that's great. I will not even make any comments about that in a negative light. I urge anyone who's struggling to go get help. That's a great thing. What I just don't appreciate is comparing Leticia to personal experiences as if Leticia is struggling with what you're struggling with. She wasn't. It was a personality disorder, and I don't like minimizing her actions. And thank you so much, No Malicious. No Malicious says, this brain trust will save the world. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Ay. There's like a minute left, guys. We're pushing through it.
Homicidal, but had some mental issues I needed to work through that I couldn't do on my own. I feel like had Leticia hit that point and been like, you know what? Something's going on in my head. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't want to hurt anyone or myself, and went and got treatment. Like, because she was so smart. She was so beautiful, so talented. Like, it's always made me a little bit sad to see what she's become.
Yep, I agree 100%. We have a dead child who should be here. He should be here. He should be, 14? He'd be 14. It's awful. And her life is ruined. Gannon's life is gone. Landon will never be the same. This is a mother who will be in perpetual grief.
Never.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so sad. And people want to just make it really simple. They want to make it a soap opera that she's just evil and the devil and she's wicked and a witch. And I can't go there. It's not that simple to me. She's a human being.
Yeah.
See, why do you think I wrote her that letter back in April 2020?
And I applaud you for that. I think that I've always just held off doing stuff like that because I don't want Law and Crime, Jesse Weber, to put me on the wall of shame as someone who has written, because they would put me on the wall of shame as writing. I would love to write to Alec Murdoch and say, let me write your book. I would love to write to Leticia. I would love to write to these people. I don't want to be on the wall of shame as being, she sides with, I get accused of that enough already.
I never said, I always said it's not so much reaching out and wanting to talk to them that I take a serious issue with. And listen, Oprah sits down and has done some very serious interviews, right, with murderers. It's the enabling and minimizing and justifying and excusing that bothers me. It's not so much the conversation. Now, Leticia is not somebody I wish to have a conversation with because I will never have a genuine conversation. And if it's not a genuine conversation, I'm not interested. And the brutality of what she did, I couldn't bring myself to do it. But with that being said, yeah, there are other killers I would be open to asking questions without minimizing it, without justifying, without excusing. Just, hey, are they willing to answer these questions to help give insight of what happened, what led you to this place? Is there anything that happened in your childhood that we can make sure that other parents are aware to keep a lookout for with their children? Things like that, but not let me excuse and advocate for you and try to help you while never taking accountability for what you did.
always sides with the criminals. It's so gross. It's not about siding. It's about wanting to understand.
Exactly. My biggest thing is, like, I want to learn what makes these people tick.
Yes.
What better way to do it than to do investigations on this case, get to know them.
What lit the fuse? What lit
Yeah.
that fuse that day? That what happened with Gannon? Because there was 364 days in the year they were together that she didn't. The fuse didn't get lit and she didn't murder him. There was that one day and that fuse got lit and something happened. So I'm excited to see what else you got. I'm going to let you go rest. I'm going to upload this for the Patreons, and then I'll keep you in touch. We'll see what kind of interest this generates and if people
Yes, please do. When you upload it, could you send me a link so I can watch it?
Yep. No, I will send you the StreamYard. I'll send you this link so that you don't have to pay for Patreon. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'll be talking to you over the next day or so.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Rest easy.
You too.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Woo. We did it. We did it. Now, I don't know if there was another interview. If there was, I never watched it. Or if anything was posted, I'm going to take tonight and try to go through and find. And if there's more, I'll let you guys know and we'll decide if we want to watch more. But that was a lot. That was a lot. And I told you guys, I told you this interview, she was minimizing that she believed Leticia. So now when we go back to the calls tomorrow and we're listening, and Amy is just completely encouraging and act like she's completely on board with Leticia, just remember this interview that, oh yeah, no, I didn't believe her. Oh, she was lying. Oh, that, yeah, okay. But I don't know. Maybe Kelly, but I don't know what I would get from her. It would be hard for me to be able to interview Amy because in any other case, maybe, but this case I take very personal, even though I don't have any personal ties, but this case is personal for me, and I have way too much emotion to where I don't know if I would be able to conduct an interview with Amy unbiasedly and fairly without allowing my emotions to take the forefront, if that makes sense. I could see myself getting very angry and very upset, and it wouldn't be right to have somebody on for an interview to be yelled at, or and I feel like that's something I would do with this specific circumstance. So and in my opinion, I don't trust anything she's saying. I don't trust anything she's saying. So everything that she really has already been shared. That's why I'm willing to go over other people's stuff where Amy was on. But I don't know where she is or what she's up to now. I'll look into that tonight when I go to see if there was anything else posted, and try to get, like, has she done anything since then? But I guess we'll see. But I know Bendy is live with Allie over on the Ward case study. So I am going to drop their link so we could go Jade Raid over there. They are doing the video visits. And so we may end up going over there and there's going to be an Amy visit. So this is the link for the Ward case studies. Please join me over there. Other than that, thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you for anybody who had gifted memberships or sent super chat. Your support is so greatly appreciated. We will be on tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, not 7:30. I'll remember. And yeah, I hope to see you guys over at Bendy's. So have a wonderful night.